Hey, everybody, it is Chris Brown, your real estate professional and a marketing entrepreneur. So I'm trusting everyone is having a great day. So be sure to tune in, stop doing what else you're doing, and be prepared for the latest update in the real estate market. This is the July edition. So if this is your first time checking out this YouTube channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and be sure to click on that notification button so that you can get the latest and greatest news in regards to the real estate market. This is a channel that we not only talk about buying, selling, and investing in real estate, but we also talk about hot topics in regards to entrepreneurship as well as building generational wealth. So with that being said, go ahead and take the time to do that. And what I want to do is go ahead and get started on this latest episode of State of the Real Estate Market with yours truly. Let's get this going here, guys. So just getting off of a big trip, just spent with the fam, and it was an amazing time. So be sure to do that. If you guys haven't had an opportunity to do that this summer, be sure to tune in and see what else is out there to do besides just staying at home. Try to get out if you can, do some things with the fam. It's always a good thing. Create memories. That's what it's all about, creating memories. All right. There we go. Get this party started. All right. And here we go. All right, guys, there you go. That great picture, that great picture there. So guys, be sure to like, subscribe. We want to make sure that you guys getting tuned in, getting the latest and greatest of buying, selling, and also investing in real estate. With yours truly, I do this type of episode at least once a month, and then I also deliver some other weekly tidbits in regards to buying, selling, investing in real estate, and also from time to time, you're going to hear me give you guys some insight, or even have special guests give you guys insights on some of the latest entrepreneur things that are out there. A big one that's out there right now is obviously the AI, ChatGPT. A lot of people are trying to figure out how they can leverage that to basically grow at this time. But let's go ahead and dive right on in. So a couple of key takeaways that we will see in this latest episode is, will the interest rates continue to rise? That's been like a continuous conversation all summer long. People are continuously keeping an eye out on that, really trying to see if this is the time for them to buy or even sell their homes. I'm speaking with a lot of sellers, and I'm telling them, hey, this is the time to sell because inventory is low right now, and people do not have many options that are out there. But it's all about being patient as a seller, as well as being a little bit more flexible. You're starting to see a lot more of the individuals giving some type of concessions. Before, there was probably about a year and a half to 2 years that there weren't any sellers concessions that are out that were being given. So keep in mind that this is a different market. It is about being a little bit more patient, and then also having a lot more flexibility. So this is not 2 summers ago, or when the market was just going ridiculous and people were, doing over asking price. Totally different market. Being aware and keep in mind that what the national market is doing may be completely different from what the local market is doing. So if it's gotten to a point now, it's not even just looking at your zip code. The zip code gives you a general idea, but it's also looking at, if you're in like a subdivision or a community, it's really looking to see what's going on in your community, see if it's a hot community that people are buying into or not. So keep that in mind if you are thinking about selling your home. Make sure you're asking the right questions to your real estate professional. All right, well, prices begin to settle. Guys, we've actually been seeing this. I've had a couple of conversations with people in regards to the prices, and we've been seeing the prices settle. And it's not the way it was before. And you're not seeing people with the high prices. And like I said, people giving over asking price, even on a price that seems to be too high. You're starting to see prices come down. You're starting to see the flexibility with the sellers. Prices aren't as high as they were, or they weren't increasing as much as they were in the past. They are much higher than it was, say, a year, 12 months ago, 12 to 24 months ago. Prices are higher because it's real estate. At the end of the day, the real estate market has not crashed as much as, or it hasn't crashed at all, but it hasn't done what a lot of people were suggesting that the market would do. And if you guys have been following me for a while, my opinion has always been that, hey, this is a completely different market from what it was previously, when we had the 08, 09, where it was more of like a financial crash due to the mortgages and a whole bunch of other crazy things that were going on behind the scene. This is a completely different market. Right now, we are experiencing higher prices, and we're also experiencing higher interest rates. So what does that do? Well, at the same time, in the market, even though the interest rates are high, you still have a low inventory. So if you're having a low inventory, it's the rules of economics, high demand. If you have high demand, high prices, it keeps going. If you have high demand, low prices, something's going to be impacted. So, and that's going to come down to the inventory. So right now, with there being a lower demand and with there being higher interest rates than what they were in past 12 to 24 months, what we're experiencing is more of a settle. And it's a settle of not going back to where the prices were, but more of a settle as in you're not seeing that big growth, or you're not seeing that huge decline. So we're kind of at, as they would say, a holding pattern, if you're relating to airplanes or anything along those lines. So it's more of a holding pattern where this market is continuously being interesting to people, kind of really seeing what people are looking to do. You're seeing small spurts of purchases, especially during the summer months. A lot more people were picking up and purchasing an actual home during the summer months. And that gives you a little bit of flavor of how the traditional market was prior to the pandemic. Typically during the summer months, you did see an increase in prices. With that also being said, we also experience we typically experience a little bit of a slowdown in the fourth quarter. So in the past few years, that has not been so true. We've seen where there's just been continuous purchases for all through the seasons, and it's been unpredictable. So it's all about really paying attention to the market on a continuous basis. That's why I put this information out there, just kind of give you guys a heads up on a few things that's going on out there in the market. So other hot information, should we expect the real estate market to crash? No, guys, this is still the same response. I keep getting this question asked of me. What do I think of the real estate market? What do I think it's crashing or anything along those lines? Guys, the real estate market is not crashing. It is obviously settling. You're starting to see a lot of individuals who jumped into the real estate market as a professional. They're seeing a decline, and a lot of them are actually falling out of the market. And what I mean by falling out of the market, where they're not renewing their license, they're not continuously selling homes. They may have gone back to a full-time job, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Because obviously, if the market isn't hot like it was, everybody was getting into the market. I'm sitting there talking to my barber. He's telling me about different people getting into the market that were doing completely opposite things. They're quitting, cutting hair and getting into the real estate market, and vice versa. You hear, over the beauty salons, postal workers, taking time away to, they're selling houses on the weekend and only working during the week, all kinds of things that are going on. So guys, as the industry, the real estate market has not experienced a crash. Obviously, we're keeping an eye on this. What's always going to be interesting, especially with it being right around the corner, we're probably about just a little bit over a year away from new elections, and I mean presidential elections. So what that means is that the economy always acts unpredictable during these times. And one of the big things that I've learned over the years, especially as we get closer to the election point, you're going to see gas prices drop. We'll probably experience a little bit of a high, and then we're going to really see gas prices drop as we get closer to the actual election. So keep an eye on that. I've been keeping an eye on that for the past few elections that I've been blessed to see. And let's see if that trend stays. But be sure to keep an eye on that and know the real estate market is not crashing, guys. It is truly not crashing. I have people ask that all the time. Hey, is this market going to crash, or should we experience the crash to come soon, and should we be buying real estate like we did in the past? You should be buying real estate. You should be selling real estate. If you're in a position where you're buying homes, it's a lot of new construction. This is where new construction kind of comes in, because there's no old inventory out there, or it's very low. At least in my market, the inventory is very low. So new construction is finding a way to rebound from a lot of the loss that they had during the pandemic. They're selling homes, and their prices are still a little bit, and their prices are on the rise as well. But people are getting into brand new homes. Their homes aren't being built as fast as they used to be, as well as the timelines are completely different. I remember there was a point where I had people where they got their 60-day notice, where they gave their 60-day notice, and they say, hey, I need to find a home so that I can transition into a new home. And what I would do is, we were able to be successful with that and actually close prior to them being removed from, like, they were renting an apartment or a house or whatever they were renting, before their lease actually ending. That's how rapid the real estate market was moving, where you can say, hey, I need to find a house in the next 60 days. And I was successful in doing so on a continuous basis. Now, don't try that now. If you are able to say, hey, I don't want to buy a home, that you want to buy a home in less than 60 days, you're going to have some challenges. And you're probably going to end up either settling or buying something that you truly don't want. And it's just for the purposes of you finding a new home. It is a challenge. I'm telling people, at least start the process 6 months in advance. And I say 6 months because if you have to go through get financing corrected, or get anything worked on your personal credit, or save additional monies or anything along those lines, you want to have that leeway in order to do so. Inventory is low. So you also want to make sure that you get an idea of what's out there, what type of homes are out there. And then also, especially if it's a home that you are buying for the first time, or first time in a long time, see what's out there, see what you really like in a home, see what you don't like in a home. And you get that process started. A lot of what I'm doing with a lot of buyers that are interested in homes, I'm providing them with the resources to be able to do the research on some of these properties that are available. We don't go out and go view every home that's out there. We're waiting until they have the green light, making sure that they're mortgage ready and everything is good to go. Make sure they have all their escrow in line so that they can go out and find a home. That's what I'm doing with that. With my sellers, it's a continuous process, because they're always going to be on the fence, because a lot of them want to sell their current home because they have so much equity built up in it. But then they also want to be able to move into another home. If you live in a hot market like I do, which is Tampa Bay area, the Tampa Bay area, a lot of people are moving into it. And a lot of people, they're like, hey, I want to sell my home, but I want to stay in this area. I don't want to move anywhere else. So that's where the challenge becomes, because they are not able to find another home to move into. And in a lot of cases, people can't afford their current home if it was on the market today, just because there's so much built up equity. A lot of these homes, I had a lot of first time home buyers that probably bought their home, 4 or 5 years ago. And now they're sitting on so much equity. It was so many benefits or incentives that were out there to encourage them to actually purchase a home. And when they did purchase their home, put that up there for you guys. And then when they did purchase their home, they were actually able to Excuse me, guys. So when they did purchase their home, they were able to get into it with so many different incentives, down payment, closing costs, whatever it may be. Now it's a completely different story. Their home is worth so much more. I have a number of clients that have at least six figures in equity in their home. 6 figures, guys, 6 figures. And that's kind of unheard of because, typically the real estate market didn't grow exponentially like that in so many years. But a lot of people are in that position. What do they do with the equity? That's why on this channel, we also talk about not only buying, selling, we talk about buying, selling, and investing in real estate because there's so many other opportunities. This is the way to build generational wealth. Another topic that we talk about, and more information to come in regards to that. So be sure to tune in as we are getting more and more information out there to everyone in regards to what is hot, what are some of the trends right now. A lot of investors that are in, say, the New York area have been impacted by there's new guidelines for Airbnb. So like I said, not only do you want to know what some of the national trends are so that maybe you could be ahead of the curve, but also see what's going on in your local market. So keep that in mind. So, to a lot of my investors that are in that New York area, I was just there just last week. So I understand what is going on, especially of those Airbnbs and just the whole situation there. So I know they're fighting that. But hey, more to come. And then I'm sure I'll learn a little bit more about it as well. So additionally, this is a good time to sell. Yeah, it's definitely a good time to sell. Inventory is low, so you have a little bit more control, but you have to understand what the expectations are. If you are selling a home in today's market, you need to be aware that you may have to be a little flexible with incentives. There may be buyers out there asking for closing costs. Also need to be aware that, hey, you may need to have a little bit more patience as in the time frame of when the home actually sells. And then ultimately make sure you're asking the right questions to your real estate professional because every market is completely different. I've seen communities within communities that sell faster than other parts of the community. And then vice versa, where they have communities within a community where nothing is moving. They have a lot of inventory, well, I won't say a lot of inventory. They have inventory that's been on the market for a number of days. Reasons being, you never know why. But that's why it's always important. It could be because of certain guidelines. I've seen it where because some properties have been impacted by rezoning. Some properties have been impacted by new construction, where you have new construction within a mile radius of a particular home that's for sale, a resale home. And when that's the case, not only are they looking at your home, but if it's just a mile away from yours, they're going to go take a look at that new construction. And then that new construction representative is going to sell them on all of the benefits of having new construction. And that's basically having a brand new home. You don't have to worry about a lot of the things, the wear and tear on a home after a number of years. If there is something wrong, it's typically under warranty. And if it's under warranty, it's taken care of. Whereas, you have to protect yourself if you're buying a resale home. That's where a home warranty comes into play. So if you are a buyer out there, make sure you are being educated on what a home warranty is. Because you can get it whether it's a new construction home or even if it's a resale home. So don't be fooled by some of this information that's out there. Become knowledgeable in that information so that you can move forward and be able to make an educated decision. If you're educated on a particular topic, you can make a well-informed decision on which direction you would like to go. So keep that in mind. Is this a good time to sell? Why, yes, it is. It is a good time to sell. So I did have a couple of things I did want to talk to you guys about. I did have a particular topic in mind, but I'm not going to discuss that in this. Usually I have a couple of featured listings. Do have some listings that are out there that are pretty hot in the market, but we're going to save that for another time. what I'm actually going to do is be sure to do a separate video on some of the featured listings. So we have some hot properties that are out there, great opportunities, even with some of the foreclosed properties that are out there that the banks actually have. They've actually foreclosed on, and now that they're placing them back on the market, and they're slowly placing them back on the market. So it's they're kind of playing along with the low inventory game as well, because if they know if it's low inventory, they're going to get more for those homes that they have that have been in their inventory. So they have a slow release of those homes. So keep that in mind. But one of the hot things that I definitely want to talk to you guys about, and let's go ahead and see what we're going to do here. There we go, guys. All right. So one of the things I want to talk to you guys about, and it's just been a continuous item that has been on my mind. And what I mean by being on my mind is that, you know, if you're not buying, if you're not selling, what are you doing? So if you're not buying right now, then is there a situation where you are perhaps renting? And if that is the case, there's nothing wrong with that right now. If you want to rent a home, there's a lot of people who are not really looking to buy a home at this time. They are really just going to be sticking with the process of just renting. They don't want to buy a home. And then you have those who are wanting to sell their homes, and then they may not find a way of getting new inventory. And if that's the case, then they're renting themselves. They're finding themselves in a position where they're actually renting homes. So, and I know the big hoopla about a lot of the rentals that are out there and the rental market in itself is that, hey, you know, the prices are high, you know, it's ridiculous to rent a home. But what you're starting to see are that a lot of, especially in my market, prices went sky high with rentals. And they're still high, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong at all. But also during that time, a lot of people jumped on the I won't say bandwagon, jumped on the opportunity to realize that, hey, there's a need. There's so many people that move, say, into the Tampa Bay area, and people still coming. How do we house them if we don't have the inventory of homes, one, to sell them? So if they're coming down here and they have a big chunk of money, they need somewhere to live. So what happens is they're selling the home, say in like the Northeast, out West, or a home that they've had for a number of years. They have built up so much equity. Now they have a big chunk of cash that they can either invest into a new home, or that they can just spend or afford to spend. So what's happening is the rental prices, like I said, they went up because there was a higher demand. So they said, if it's a high demand, we'll go ahead and increase the prices and see if that demand sticks. And the demand was still sticking and is still sticking because it's a need. It's not a want. Your living headquarters is more of a need versus a want. You know, the type of car, if you should have a car or a bike, or the type of car, that's where it becomes a need and a want. And if that is the case, then those are some of the things that you'll keep an eye on as well. So let me go ahead and switch this on over. Let's do this here. So, all right. So with that being said, one of the things I want to make sure that we are getting updated for you guys is that, like I said, rental rates, rental prices, they have been sky high. And with them being sky high over the past couple of years, you know, some people are asking, hey, are the rates going to start to drop? And yes, we are starting to experience somewhat of a drop. And as I was mentioning before, since so many people jumped on the opportunity to build multifamily apartments, luxury apartments, what's happening is now you're having a natural competition, because before the apartment buildings that were out there before, that situation was that those individuals did not have to compete or have to build new space. They just increased their prices and people were paying them. And that was the case. And so with that being the case, a lot more people jumped on the opportunity to build multi-unit luxury apartments. And with that being said, now the competition is coming in where it's like now they're competing for people to actually purchase, or excuse me, rent from them. So when there's natural competition, there's usually some type of pricing adjustment. So even according to realtor.com, you guys don't have to take the full word from me, but, take a little bit from me. You don't have to take the full word, but just a little bit. But you'll see that there's an opportunity where people have been, what they typically do is they're seeing that the prices are dropping a little. Rent, according to realtor.com, miracles do happen. Rents drop from the first time since COVID-19. And this is pretty much true. This is what's really going on that's out there. Trying to let people know that, hey, there is an opportunity. If there is an opportunity, then prices are going to drop. Another article from realtor.com, you guys can take a look at this. Thought it was pretty interesting that they're starting to dictate the cities with the lowest price drop. So typically what happens is when you have articles out like this, renters rejoice, landlords are dropping prices the most in these 10 cities. Now what happens is these 10 cities are going to start being placed on people's maps as an opportunity for those individuals to actually move into these cities or move to these cities. Now, one of the big questions for a lot of people is, well, if people are moving to these cities, what's typically going to happen? Do we see that there's going to be a stop in the, let me go ahead and get this over here. Get you guys set up there. All right. Do we see that there's going to actually be a stop as in what's going on in the actual market itself? Do we see that the competition, is there going to be more opportunities? Is there going to be more situations where people are, get you guys here, more opportunities for people to actually buy? That's why it's important for us to pay attention to the market. If you're selling your home right now in today's market, opportunity is there. Inventory is low. So keep that in mind. The rental market is still there. Prices are still high, but depending upon your actual market, if you're one of those 10 cities that are really dropping their prices, I can start seeing those cities having a flux of people moving to those areas because it's all about affordability these days. A lot of people are able to work from home. So if you're able to work from home and that's where your bread and butter is coming from, or the money that your income is coming from, then it really doesn't matter what city that you're in. It's all about having high-speed internet. Nowadays, everybody, for the most part, has high-speed internet, at least in the United States. And at least in a lot of the bigger cities, let's put it that way. So keep that in mind, guys. As always, I'm always bringing you information that is very helpful and that you'll find to be very helpful. Also, be sure to stay tuned. Stay tuned for those featured listings that I told you guys that I have. I want to be sure to share with you guys and make sure that you have that information to basically just to know what's going on. This is a YouTube channel that we not only talk about buying, selling, and investing in real estate, but we also talk about big topics in regards to entrepreneurship as well as building generational wealth. Myself, Chris Brown, is a real estate professional and marketing entrepreneur based out of the Tampa Bay area. If you have questions about the real estate market, specifically in regards to the Tampa Bay area, feel free to reach out to me, or a lot of people, they just direct message me if they have questions about the Tampa Bay market or even other markets in general. I don't have the latest and greatest, but I can point you in the right directions if it's a different market that I'm not familiar with, or if you just have questions in regards to, like I said, buying, selling, investing in real estate. Feel free to reach out. I do have a small group that I mentor in regards to building generational wealth. That group is doing phenomenal, making some big things happen. So be sure to stay tuned. We'll probably be doing a couple of live seminars with that, where you guys can kind of get some more insight on how to build generational wealth with real estate, specifically rehabbing properties. That's a big thing for me, taking older homes and being able to remodel them to a sense and make them modern. So keep that in mind, guys. But as always, Signing out. This is yours truly, Chris Brown, real estate professional and marketing entrepreneur. I appreciate everyone being on board. And thank you once again for tuning in to State of the Real Estate Market with yours truly. Be sure to like and click on the like button and to subscribe. Take care, guys.